So hello, good evening and welcome to Excellent Books. We are in the library and we're heading in that direction to the science fiction and fantasy and short story shelves. Will take us roughly 20 minutes to get there. To our left is Stanage Moor, to our right is Bamford Moor, behind us is Blicklow. I'm talking to you in my future, but you're now of my past. We've just come through Titty Woods, lots of blue tits, great tits, nut hatches, everything. We've got another little copse coming up, which has got tits in it. Don't be rude now. So yes, I'm filming this in the last weekend of September because I'm on call next week in the mortuary, and because it's October and people like to kill each other in October, I'm on call and I will get fucking busy. So I won't get the chance of doing a video until mid-October and posting it, which is crap to say it's for September. So I'm a little bit early, but it doesn't matter. I'll upload it in October, Spooktober, and yeah, that's when you'll get it. So it's my future that I'm filming in my present, but you'll be getting it in the past. I hope you've had a good reading month, everybody. I have. It's about 20 minutes up this path to where we're going. It's a little shooter's lean-to up on Stanage Moor. Beautiful spot. I've had many a nice breakfast, many a nice lunch on my rambles of the Peak District. And I've got a rucksack with books in it. I've had an excellent month. Bought some books. Read a book or two. Yeah, it's been very good. So I hope you're all doing well. Get your ironing boards out, or your big telly off, or whether you're watching me on your big telly in your armchair, whatever. Let's get to where we're going. I'll get a brew on and we'll talk books and bullshit. See you in a bit. Well, this is us. Little shooter's lodge. Up on the moor, there's some grouse shooting butts. And we come in here and have a cup of tea and all that. We've got across this little stream. Let's see if I fall in. Get my toes wet. Haha, no chance. Compact. Does the job. The roof has fallen in, look, off the shelving at that side there. It's normally this height all the way along. It's come off that upright in the end wall. Yes, it can get a bit run down, the science fiction department in this library. little stone under that. Get my stone sorted. Happy days. So here we go. Get your cup of joe. Sit back and relax. Brought me sandwiches. Bag of books. So we'll do what I read first. How's that crap then? How do you like them onions? So I started the month off with a trip a week up on the Isle of Skye, and to accompany me, because my wife didn't go, I had the van to myself. She's hurt her back and her hips, so she couldn't come. I took for company Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Never read any of his books. He's got a couple before this. He's got this one, the second one, Rise of the Gods, I think it's called, something like that, and one that comes out, it's either out now, but I'm getting it in paperback, so I think it's about either October time or later in the year, whatever. I'm not in a rush to buy it, so I've got to read the second one. I really like this. It is very similar in style to Abercrombie. Epic, Viking, Icelandic, Norwegian, saga-esque. It revolves mainly around 3 characters. Let me put what I wrote about them. The chapters in it are not very long, which I like, and each one is about the 3 main characters, but it just gives you enough in each chapter to want to read the next one, to read the next one, to read the next one, because I generally read chapter to chapter. I don't like finishing a book halfway in between chapters. So yeah, very good way it's laid out. There's he writes the women very similar to how he writes the male characters. I mean, it's very violent, there's blood and guts, there's a little bit of hanky-panky towards the end of it, but not, it's glossed over, not really brought up, if you like. But there's a lot of violence in it, and it's done well actually. It's not, although it is a gore fest, it's not a gore fest, if that makes any sense to you. You know, the fight scenes are done very well. He obviously has been in a couple of fights, whether real or in a training room or whatever. You can tell he knows a little bit about scrapping, and it comes across in his books, in his book, because I've only read this one. It's left on a cliffhanger because he wants you to buy the second one. The second one's going to be left on a cliffhanger because he wants you to read the third. But I can cope with that. some lovely quotes and lines in it, as you can see by my
annotations.
I particularly liked the character of Varg. He is a slave. He's used, from a young man, he is a pit fighter for his owner, and the only friend he's got is his sister, who's murdered, and he is seeking revenge. But he writes how this young man, with obviously no interaction on a friendly basis, then has to interact with a crew of mercenaries, if you want to call them that, soldiers for hire, of the Viking Age, and it's how he interacts with them mercenaries and gets to develop a friendship that he's never had before, apart from with his murdered sister. I thought he could have done more with that character, but he didn't. But he's one of the main characters. There's two women characters in it. One is a bloodthirsty killer in the crew that Varg joins, and she's done very well. But not very, how can I put it, not very, it's not written as a woman. You can tell he's used to writing for men, from a men's perspective, and it don't matter whether you're a man or a woman and you're gonna go and fight someone with an axe and a sword. You can do it equally as well as a man or a woman, but I think he blurs the lines between the male characters and the female characters. Although they're good, they're just not, this is going to sound really bad, they're just not girly enough. But they can't be girly because they're killers. But he don't make that distinction between a little bit softer than the hardened male killers. He writes the females as hardened killers in their own right. If any of that makes sense. But they're two very well written characters, and I really like this. I read it up in the Isle of Skye, up on the mountains. Suited the place very well. I really liked it. So that's Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. You can go there. Don't fall in that puddle. The second book I've been reading is This Monster. 1,000 pages, 900 something pages, let's have a look. 956 pages. Ray Bradbury's Short Stories, Volume 1. I've read it before when I was in my late teens. Loved it. Lost my copy through moving and flitting around England, and I always said I was going to get it and read it again. So this is a doorstep. And since I've been back, I've been reading the short story collection. So this is exactly how I remember it. There's a young man in quite a few of his short stories, who is born into a family of vampires, werewolves, night walkers, people that can float out and go into another body, and he's normal. And it's about, most of them are about this young man, which I remembered really well and loved every one of them. There's a start of the Martian stories, and then it'll move on. I'm on 190 pages into it, but brilliant. I'm loving it. Typical Ray Bradbury. There's if you've read Dandelion Wine by him, there's the ravine where the young lad's at home waiting for his brother to come home. His mother knows it's late and they have to go into the fucking ravine of doom in the local village or town where he lives. And this young man sees that his mother, a grown-up, can actually be scared of the dark and what's in the ravine, the hidden horrors, you know, of the subconscious, what you perceive can be there. But yeah, that's one of the stories in this tome. Very good. So I'll be reading that in between my other books. And that's all I've read. That's all I've read, because I've been climbing, I've been on holiday, I've been doing the horrible W word, which we do not talk about. So yeah, I've had a lot of things going off this month, but I've still managed to get a really good book in and some really good short stories, and I've enjoyed it. So while I was on holiday, I've been looking out for a book that I saw on the Isle of Skye in Portree last time I went up. So on my latest trip, I bought it. And it is called The Blue Fox by Sojan. I think it's pronounced Sojan. There's a couple of Spaniolas there. But anyway, The Blue Fox. So I'm a subscriber to this young woman in North America. I think she's from the northwest coast, really softly spoken, does English at some American university, and she's called on YouTube. Her channel is Emmy, I think. Black hair, young woman. Most of it has no bearing on me. She does clothes, stuff she's doing in the week, so I can just skip through them. But she has a really good taste in books. So she recommended this ages ago, and I've been looking out for it. It's set in Norway, I think, Iceland. There's 3 short stories, and they come together at the end. There's a vicar who is after the pelt of the mythical blue fox. There's 2 other stories, but it's a very short book, 112 pages. But I'm hoping that her recommendation is going to be good. So I bought it. It's been on my list for about a year, so I saw it, I thought, fork and spoon it, I'm having it. That's the first purchase. I read ages ago Angela Carter's The Bloody Chamber. Now, she's an author from Sheffield. I think she's dead now, but I could be wrong. I think she is. But she wrote loads of books. The Bloody Chamber is on the required reading list of A-level English in England, or one of the books that the examiners that year can choose for you to pick. I read it, I liked it. So, next one, Heroes and Villains. Don't know a great deal about it. It's been recommended by a girl at work who is very well read. She says if you like The Bloody Chamber, you will like this. So, another short book, 164 pages, both of them. Hopefully, shouldn't take me long at all. Won't be getting them to this month, October. It'll be November that I plan on reading these two, and Night, is it? The one from last month, another short one. Night by the... I'm so crap with names. About the concentration camp. I'll be reading that. So they're them two. I also subscribe to another American geezer. He's got a bald head. Very, very well spoken gentleman. Michael K. Vaughan, I think it is. Comes from Vaughan Manor. And he has got a massive selection of books. The ones that got me into him are Conan, Robert E. Howard, which I love, and the Edgar Rice Burroughs. He's a big Edgar Rice Burroughs fan, big Howard fan, a big Lovecraft fan. So I've got a few recommendations from him for Spooktober. The first one, The Great God Pan and Other Horror Stories by Arthur Machen. He's a Welsh author from the 1800s to 1900s. Short stories. This is the Oxford edition that the bloke recommended to buy. So with it being Spooky October, I've never joined in on these monthly reads, but I am this month, October, so that is going to be one of the ones I'm starting. Second up is The Wendigo and Other Stories by Algernon Blackwood. He is another very well-known early days, late 1800s, early 1900s horror stories. I like them gothic horrors rather than, you know, modern day horrors, which are total bullshit. I mean, let's be right about it. A lot of the horror films, Saw and all them, they're just garbage, man. And you read the books from them, modern horror stories, they're absolute crap. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion. So I don't generally read much horror. I read Stephen King, which is soft horror in it nowadays, more of a thriller, soft horror writer. Just because the work that I do can be quite horrific. So when someone is, you know, slashing and cutting and murdering, I take people's organs out for a living. I'm the one covered in blood every day of the week, other people's blood, bodily fluids, taking out their organs. So if you're trying to depict that, I'm afraid that's not very frightening to me. I work alone, I work at night, in a mortuary, full of bodies, not that scary. So I like the gothic horror ones of them. So this also comes highly recommended by that same geezer. I think there's 3 or 4 different short stories in it. Another Oxford classic that he said is the best edition, so that's the what I bought. That's number 2. M.R. James, The Collected Ghost Stories. Now I have read some of his stuff before, in where I get my books, Waterstone's massive book publishers in Britain, shops. They sell the British Library Collection, which is a group of books, or short stories, or collections by Gothic writers, the 18th, 17th centuries, all put together. So I have read some of his stuff before and liked it. So this is another one for spooky October. What I think I'll be doing in October as well is I'm not sure, but I might turn the lights down in the mortuary and do it in the mortuary, because it's Spooktober and no one else on YouTube would be doing the book reviews in a mortuary. So I might do that, I don't know yet. So yes, I have purchased 5 books. It's like an AA meeting this, isn't it? What did you do? I bought 5 books this month and I read 1. I've got to smuggle them in past the wife so she don't know. No, I haven't, honestly, I haven't. Yeah, I have. So there, I obviously, my reading speed won't get through all of them, but I'll get through a good chunk of them, I think, because they're on his short stories and you can zing through them. And yeah, that is it from the library on Stanage Moor. I'm going to have my sandwiches. And I will see you in October. Have a good time. Like, subscribe, share, do all that normal stuff. Have a good month. Be happy. Happy reading.